believe in, because you know what? When you scream and you scream and you scream and you scream and you peacefully protest and you lie down and you wait and you sit in front of bulldozers and nobody gives a shit still, what are you gonna do? You have no other option. My people, I hope you've been watching the TV, because this place has blown up. And it's such a complicated situation. You know, you can't say one way or another what we should be doing right now. And that's just completely honest, because this is more than a century old cry for help that has not been answered. So that's what's going on right now. There's a lot of things involved in this. There's a lot of people who incited this violence to create something more than it needed to be. I agree that there are people planted who are doing certain things in this, but you have to understand as well that when you oppress a people for so long, make it feel like their voices cannot be heard ever. Make it where they have to teach their children how to avoid police and how to speak to police if the police come up to them and how to not get yourself killed. You have to be taught that as a 5 or 6-year-old child. And then you have to know that most of the country doesn't have your back. Most of the country doesn't care what happens to you. Most of the country thinks that you're a criminal because the skin that you wear is darker than theirs, which is just melanin. It's a horrible scenario. No mom should ever have to feel that way about her child growing up, knowing that one day my child could be killed by a police officer or by another individual of an opposite race, and then it actually happens. I can't imagine the pain that George Floyd's mom's experiencing right now. And unfortunately, George Floyd's brother got a call from the White House, but he wasn't even able to speak. And the president, in my opinion, is not reacting appropriately to this right now. He's invoked the Insurrection Act of 1807, where he can bring the military in to take care of this. And I remember this is a direct quote, he said, "When the looting starts, the shooting starts." How about this, President Trump? How about you arrest the officers and you take care of your country? Because all you're doing right now is showing to the black community that you actually do not care what happened to them. If you did, you would call for the arrest of all of the officers, and you would call for the charges to go through with all of the officers. Do you not realize that's the only thing that people want right now, is they want these freaking brotherhood of cops and not get away with it again? I did a video not that long ago with 115 individuals, unarmed black individuals, and not a single one of them who was killed in that list, not a single cop was charged. All the cases were dropped. This is what we're talking about. There's an imbalance in the way that we handle business. If you take a certain group in your society and you push them down into the shadows, you push them into an area where they have to do a little bit more nefarious deeds in order to survive, where they have to live in a world of illegal activities in order to just make it. And the only way for them to become extremely popular and famous and make money for their community is to rap about that. That's something that we have done. That's something that has happened because of our negligence of the inner workings of a whole entire group of people. Not only were they slaves here in this country, but as soon as slavery was abolished, they were slaves again. They were slaves to our mindset. They were slaves to poverty. They've been slaves to certain areas in the city. They've been pushed away and pushed down, and then you expect them not to rise up against you, and you expect them not to commit crimes? How the hell else are they supposed to live? How the hell else are they supposed to do what they got to do in this life if you don't give them a single opportunity to do it, and then when they try, you say, "What the fuck, that's a black man doing something, he needs to be put down." Screw you. You created this problem and then you punish someone for it. That's why we're getting what we had here this week. What we've got here is failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach, which is when you get what we had here last week, which is the way he wants it. Well, he gets it. So what is this? What's going on right now? What's going on right now is the injustice of hundreds of years is rising up into the belly of men and women all across this nation, white and black, because we don't want this shit anymore. You want this to end? You take care of it. You arrest them. And then you do that again and again for every race equally, forever. And you take your little police brotherhood and you put it in your back pocket and sit on it, because that's not where it goes. You keep your white supremacists out of the law enforcement. You keep your screwed up PTSD members out of law enforcement. You keep people who have a problem with other people out of law enforcement. You need to screen those men. You need to do mental health checks on those men. You need to take care of business, President Trump. I used to like you a little bit because I thought you were going to get rid of the child trafficking in this country. But what you said the other day, my ancestors, my great-uncle, 5 greats, I'm sorry, was drugged through the city behind a wagon until all his skin came off because he signed away the lands to the white people. Okay? My ancestors had to walk the Trail of Tears and eat their sons and daughters and brothers and sisters because they weren't allowed to have food. They were slaves. They were raped. They were pillaged. I understand you. Some bull. That's what it is. It's bull. I don't care if I lose subscribers for this video. I don't care. And I care about the justice for all races and equality. But right now, white lives don't matter until black lives matter. You can't have equality if you only got one side of it. I just want you to know I love you guys so much, and I'm coming back soon with the Black Lights video, and I'm going back to the empath nature. But being an empath the way that I am, I can't sit here and do this. I can't say that all these riots are against what I believe in, because you know what? When you scream and you scream and you scream and you scream and you peacefully protest and you lie down and you wait and you sit in front of bulldozers and nobody gives a shit still, what are you going to do? You have no other option. Sometimes you got to stand up and burn it to the ground. Now, I wish this wasn't happening. I wish no one was dying right now. No one needs to be killed because of these stupid riots. I wish that the buildings and the businesses weren't being destroyed, but you know what? They have insurance. That's taken from the man again. Take his insurance money, pay for it, and fix it. I wish I didn't have to act like this right now, because this isn't Be Still Voice Works. But equality is. My great-grandfather, Rufus Cuthbertson, stood on the stage with Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. King, at the Peace, I Have a Dream speech. He was on that stage. He's in a photo. You can look him up. Rufus Cuthbertson. It's in my blood. I want peace. I want equality. And until those officers are charged, all of them, you're not going to get it. So why don't you listen up? Listen to the voices of the people. All of them.